Welcome back to the Shortcut Live. This is your daily live video show all about consumer technology. We are streaming every day, every weekday from at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. And we have a lot of consumer tech stories for you today. Let's go through that rundown. We have big Apple news. They're having not one, not two, but 3 devices come out that surround Apple AI, a lot of wearable stuff that we want to go through. The Google Pixel 10a, Max went hands-on with that, so we're going to discuss that new phone. It's not their flagship phone, but it's a budget phone, $500, really good. Samsung is diving into AI even further with AI photography, so that's going to be one of the big updates that you see. Google I/O, which happens every May, well, we got the dates for that, so we'll preview what to expect from Google's keynote. It's like their Worldwide Developers Conference, but all Google-fied. And then we have a what is this last one, Max?
It's the Static Smart Charge Pro hands-on.
Okay. It's a hands-on.
Live in the studio.
So we actually have, we bill ourselves as like QVC for a modern generation, and we have product demos all the time. So join us for this 1-hour show. I'm welcoming our panelists. We got Max Bondano to my left. We got Kevin Lee to my right. And then all the way across the pond, we have Adam Jessica joining from the UK. So welcome everybody, and let's talk about consumer tech, specifically Apple. I know we all want to weigh in on this stuff because yesterday we led with leaks. There are further leaks about their AI-powered devices that are a little more concrete: a pendant, glasses, AirPods. Max, what do you got?
Yeah, so it sounds like Apple's making way more progress than we thought with their new AI devices. So they've been rumored for a long time to be coming out with some new smart glasses to compete with Meta, to compete with other companies working on that technology. They've been pretty much on track to come out next year, and it sounds like Apple's they might even start production at the end of this year for the new glasses, which is kind of exciting. They're not going to be a variant of the Vision Pro or anything like that. They're not going to be like a VR experience on your face. These are designed to compete specifically with the Meta Ray-Bans. So they'll have cameras, they'll have speakers, they will have microphones. You'll be able to talk to the new Siri with them. Exactly. So they'll look like pretty stylish. They're supposed to be made out of premium materials. I imagine they'll cost more than the Meta Ray-Bans just because
the Apple tax.
And so it's the Apple tax, and they'll tie in with the larger Apple ecosystem. I'm extremely excited for these smart glasses. I think they'll be very interesting to see whether they set any new trends in the smart glasses space. The other 2 devices are the pendant that we've heard so much about. It's the little AI sort of wearable pin thing. We've heard probably like 5 or 6 rumors at this point just this year about this little guy. Sounds like it'll be like an extension of the iPhone. It'll be sort of a camera that the iPhone just always uses. So you can wear it on your chest or something, or you could grab it, put it on your bag, and it's always looking, always learning what's around you. And it'll probably be powered by visual intelligence to, sort of give you contextual answers based on your surroundings, give you contextual prompts on your phone, be like, oh, you're in this place. Here's what you should maybe take action on. And then the other devices, the AirPods with the cameras. We've heard this rumor plenty of times. Sounds like they might come out this year, maybe around iPhone Fold time in September. And they'll be powered by visual intelligence. It'll have the same exact purpose as the pin, just to learn where you are, your surroundings, what's going on.
Yeah, visual intelligence is something they're trying to hone in on and make useful. Right now on the phone, you have to press a button and hold it in. It's not entirely useful, but if the camera is always facing forward and observing what you're observing automatically,
yeah,
I could see that being more useful than having to just execute that on a phone with a button press. So, and same thing with the pendant. It's a good use of Apple trying to hopefully use an enhanced Siri. Siri is not the smartest right now.
Yeah.
So, it's very good to see the world of wearables expanding. We always see, whether it's Android or Meta doing this stuff first, and Apple tries to come in and either perfect it or put its own spin on wearables. And it'll just make the ecosystem grow a lot more. We'll probably see more accessories and it become more mainstream and fashionable, especially if Apple it goes with a stylish option for the glasses.
Yeah.
All this comes from Mark Gurman's reporting over at Bloomberg. Relatively reliable, always reliable for the most part.
Pretty much always reliable. I don't know what that was.
Was that Modern Warfare? Felt like
It
gas.
sounded
Sounded
like
like
it.
gas. There's something else about this report. It also confirmed sort of like more dates as to when this stuff will come out. So the smart glasses are supposedly in production this December, and then the launch will be in 2027. And then for the AI pin, it should be this year, coming out this year also.
Nice. Max, what's with the red today?
What do you mean? I just felt like being stylish.
Oh, very, very stylish. Okay.
Maybe
You
somebody
saw-
was at a bar too late last night and forgot to bring his jacket in this morning.
Oh.
Maybe that happened. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
Or I just felt like being
You saw
Fashion.
Kevin's style
yeah.
yesterday, and you're like,
And I got
need to
jealous.
copy that.
And I was
Yeah.
like, let me throw on the nice jacket today.
That seems more plausible. Who would be drinking on a school night at a bar?
That red
Absolutely not me.
jacket. So
Definitely
is that
not
red
one
jacket
of,
basically like the lost and found that you used to have to go into when you did sports and you forgot your kit, and then you'd end up wearing like 10 different, like a shirt too small and some shorts? Is that the
No,
jacket? Is that the role in the office?
That's pretty much what happened
Mhm.
because this would
Right.
never be my first choice. I'm also severely against wearing flashy jackets. I like something more, ordinary. But Matt forces me to wear this once in a while.
Again, not forced. It's you wear it or get fired. That's not that's an option.
It isn't. No, you know what? You're right, Matt. And I'm sorry for saying I was forced. You're absolutely right. It was not forced.
I mean, there's two paths right there.
Mhm.
So
It's starting to sound like a slippery slope. You were late the other day, and then you
He's
you know,
forgetting his
you weren't in
jacket.
the right, forgetting the jacket. What else?
It's Adam's building a case on me now.
I love
Yeah.
this.
He's-
I
he's
love this
paying
first
for
Is
that
one.
was
that a
attention,
company
damn it.
provided jacket, by the way?
It is technically, yes. This is
Mm.
company property I'm wearing.
Mhm.
I mean,
What-
the
what-
one that you lost.
Hey, Kevin's trying to make up for the fact that he steals toilet paper from the
Okay,
office.
yeah, that's it.
No,
That you bought.
exactly. Yeah.
All right, let's go on to another phone story. This is in the world of mobile. Google has the Google Pixel 10a, and we got some hands-on time with it. It looks flashy. If you go to the shortcut.com, the #1 consumer tech site on Substack, you will see that, and subscribe to us, you will see that Max has really good photos. The colors, I dig, right? Why is it always the cheap phones, not the Pro and Pro Max type of phones that get the stylish colors? But no, nice photography. We can fire Kevin because Kevin's like the photography ace.
Okay.
What do you think about this phone? It looks a lot like last year's phone.
Yeah, so this is the Google Pixel 10a. It's Google's latest Pixel smartphone. It has all the Pixel guts that you would expect, also the AI features, all the Gemini stuff. This is pretty much the same phone as last year.
Mhm.
There is barely anything different. I really struggled to figure out what could be new with this phone. It turns out basically nothing. The big differentiator that Google called out to me in my meeting with them was the camera bump. And they're like, we got so much positive feedback last year on our redesigned camera bump that we decided to take it a step further. And we shrunk it down so it's completely flush on the back. And they're showing me like a comparison between the 10A and the 9A. The 9A's camera bump came out like 0.5 millimeter, something like that. So it was like barely noticeable to begin with. They're like, we made it totally flush this year. Isn't it fantastic? We had to re-engineer the whole phone. I'm like, okay. You had to re-engineer for like 0.5 millimeter of space, I guess. And they're like, we didn't have to sacrifice on camera quality or whatever. I'm like, all right, it's interesting. So this is like their big thing. So it's completely flush. The phone's technically more durable because of some newer Gorilla Glass 7i on the front.
Mhm.
So it's a bit more resistant to scratches and drops. Beyond that, it has a new berry color, which is cool. They told me lavender is the flagship color, and I was like, why is it not berry?
Mhm.
They're like, well, because we wanted to do lavender, and everybody loved the berry color that we did. I forget what the product was. They put it on something else. They're like, we just decided to throw it in because people were really into it. And I was like, okay. So that's kind of it. Like this is a very ordinary smartphone. It runs the same Tensor G4 processors last year.
Mhm.
So you don't get any performance improvements basically. It runs Android 16, obviously. 6.3 inch screen. It's a little bit brighter, 11% boost in brightness. So I don't know if you'll notice that or not. The bezels are also slightly skinnier.
Okay, that's something that these A series phones from Google have been knocked for, because you go to like the Pro phones or even like the standard Pixel phone, and it has pretty skinny bezels. This one's a little bit thicker and it's noticeable.
Yeah.
So, year over year, the A phone getting slightly skinnier bezels is kind of a nice bump, but there's not much there. They also missed the opportunity to say, when they said people were into the berry color, they're very into it.
Okay, we're gonna end the show there. Thank you everybody for tuning in today. Matt, you're fired. How about that?
Yeah.
How about you're fired?
So nice try. I'm always back.
You keep turning up.
It's like how many times we try to leave you. Just keep coming back.
Yeah, right. No. So this is it's just Google's latest $500 smartphone. So like they always have to have something at that $500 mark. They want to make AI more accessible. This phone does enable that. I would just really appreciate some type of a performance improvement, because the G4 was a decent chip, like it's fine. But the G5 in the Pixel 10 series really does feel like something substantial. Like the modem's a little bit better. Like the whole experience is like vastly improved compared to the G4. So I was looking for the G5 in this thing. Google, for whatever reason, decided to admit it. It's fine. It's just a very boring upgrade.
All right. Well,
there is one thing that I feel like is also crucially missing here. It doesn't have the Pixel Snap, like the higher end Pixel.
No, yeah, the Qi 2 charging with the magnet on there. So it has, I guess, Qi 2?
Which is worth noting, yes.
Yeah.
So no Pixel Snap, no Qi 2. Wireless charging is technically a bit faster at 10 watts, which isn't, it was 7.5 watts last year.
Right.
So you're barely going to notice the difference. No Pixel Snap, which like that is interesting because the iPhone 17e is supposed to come with MagSafe.
Right.
And also the Samsung Galaxy S26 will not have it either. So this is like a
that's
big missed opportunity, I think.
Exactly. So it's still extremely scarce in the world of Android phones. Who's to say whether Qi 2 ever really takes off in Android at this point?
It's
tough.
It's depressing.
Yeah.
This could be that could have been a really good upgrade. I'd be like, okay, at least it has that. The iPhone's going to get it, and it's in its budget phone. So fascinating to see. I wonder if your recommendation is for someone to get the last year's model of the A phone, so that the 9A.
If you can get it for like $100 to $200 off, I highly recommend it. Google is like throwing out these $100 discount codes to like, I guess, previous Pixel owners. Like I got one in my email today, get $100 off the Pixel 10a. So if you use that and trade something in, it's a pretty decent deal. But I feel like the 9A is just going to be kicking around in like different carrier stores and stuff like that. So if you can get a good deal on that, you're just better off, because there really isn't almost any upgrade here whatsoever.
We got some comments from Jose. Jose says, Matt, fire him now. I mean, if the will of the people, I must do their bidding.
That still does get me $1 though.
Yes. Actually, $2.
So I'm not that
he said,
depressed.
He said
I'm still getting paid.
smiley emojis after.
He also said, I don't know why LG stopped making phones. I had the LG G2 and really loved it. LG like took some wild risks and had interesting phones.
Yeah.
And those wild risks did not pan out later in their streak of having successive smartphones every year. Like the LG Wing was a little bit out there. I don't know anybody who bought that.
The last phone that LG ever put out.
Right. The V series I really liked, the first one.
The V was so good.
It was the premium phone.
Yeah.
And it had one of the features one year they had was an OLED screen in the top right that's just like an extended tray for your notifications, and it would come in without disturbing the rest of the screen. And I loved that feature. It also had a really great selfie camera back in the day.
Yes.
It's sad that LG is not making phones anymore, because it just gave a nice counterbalance to what Samsung and Apple were doing, which is usually the same thing.
Yeah.
They had the Flex phone. They had just so much.
Wasn't
did
the
a lot of
LG chocolate popular as well back in the day?
Yes.
Back in the day, that was
That was a really popular one.
they took risks.
I was too young for that phone, but I do remember the V series.
The V series was great.
V series was excellent. I used the LG V20 forever. Like
Yeah.
that was one of my favorite phones they ever put out. I like the removable battery, the aluminum design, like the whole thing was just so good.
Well, Jose, thank you for your comments. Your 3 comments. Now you owe these
That
guys
is
$3.
$3.
Uh-huh.
Thank
Also
you,
had-
Jose.
We also had a comment at the start of the show, even before we got on.
You know, I didn't
was,
see it, so that just doesn't count. So,
Well, he said, "Man, where are the days of hunting a PS5?"
oh yeah, a lot of PS5
One of your
restock
loyal
people,
followers.
of
Yes.
course.
He just said he don't count though.
So Jose is on YouTube, so you can comment on YouTube, on Substack, Instagram, and on Twitter. So do leave your comments. We are live, so we can react to them. That is one of the things of a daily live video show. We can't do like tight editing necessarily, but we can respond in real time. And that's a pretty cool thing.
That's right.
There's a username, Gerald.
Oh yeah.
1321.
Thank you, Gerald, for that comment. We will count that.
Jared.
Facts, I got a PS5 thanks to Matt. Awesome. Welcome back, Jose. That's $4 from Jose.
Cha-ching.
Right. All
Also,
right.
we can't fire anyone because it's not Fire Me Fridays.
Oh, that's the day. All right. So 2 days from
Let's
now.
not give Matt any ideas here.
I'm
What
wielding
the hell
executive
was that?
power.
Let's not. That's too much power for him.
It just works.
Adam's on a
Fire Me
roll today,
Fridays?
being in my corner. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's talk about Samsung. Samsung's teasing mobile AI photography tools ahead of Unpacked, where we expect them to announce the Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra. This is a phone that has been teased and rumored, and they have a privacy feature that they have talked about publicly, and it's leaked. So, you know, it just makes sense. It's going to be in that phone. We will have live coverage from Samsung Unpacked in San Francisco next week. Lots of fun stuff planned for our coverage on the ground. But there's some more leaks and more confirmations of what's coming out. Max, you want to talk about this one?
Yeah. So Samsung keeps teasing like all the features that they have coming out for the Galaxy S26 series. This is one where they're teasing some camera improvements, despite not getting any new camera hardware this year. It looks like Samsung is saying that with AI, they're going to be able to improve their camera chops. So low light photography should be getting a pretty big boost this year. AI should be able to like repair parts of an image, even in like different lighting conditions. And they're also saying that like just, you know, low light photography should be a lot better. You should be able to like generate stuff using AI. Looks like for some drawings and stuff like that, and to edit your pictures. I don't know how I feel about all these AI tools when it comes to photography. Like I get that they need some for post processing, but
Kevin, you're the expert photographer on the team. Do you dive into these AI tricks that, you know, enhance your photo? What's your process?
I think this is actually pretty impressive because you know, take a bite out of your, say your, you know, camera always eats first, but then you actually are too hungry. You take a bite, like, oh shoot, I ruined that.
Right.
This can like help repair that cupcake. Apparently, I wonder if we could do like a steak or like ramen or something like that, something more complex.
The problem is when I realize that I didn't take a photo and the meal is all gone.
Yeah,
it can like repair a bite, but it's like, oh, crumbs. Can you morph this back into?
Can you turn this crumb back into a burger?
So
if you don't take a picture of your food, did you actually ever eat food?
I mean, I wouldn't know because I've not taken a photo.
Yeah.
Nobody would believe you otherwise.
If you didn't take
And
a
it looks
photo,
like Samsung wants to fix that.
I'm curious how well it works. We'll definitely try it out if it comes out on the S26 Ultra. I will fall on my sword and buy a cupcake and then take a bite and repair.
Great sacrifice.
It is what
Take
I do.
one for the team. Thanks,
Right?
Matt.
It's going to be rough to be out in San Francisco doing that. So
Man,
coming soon.
This is going to be a nightmare for car rental companies, isn't it? Because you could crash the car, then take a picture with Samsung Repair, go, oh, look, it was perfect. And then when you give it back to them, you can be like, well, it was fine when I had it.
I have a photo where it's fine. I don't know what happened after I dropped it off.
This is the parking lot where I dropped it off.
Yeah.
That is your fault that you didn't there's some vandalism happened after I dropped it off. Adam's just devious today. I love it.
He's
I'm
thinking.
Right?
I'm always thinking outside the box. How
Not
can I
not
get
that you
away
would do
with
that.
things?
Yeah.
Right.
I don't
Kevin
care.
could use it. Kevin
I don't
could use
care.
it to take a picture of toilet roll. So if,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
if there
Just
was
an
2
empty
toilet rolls,
cardboard tube. Yeah.
yeah,
bare
and then
cardboard
suddenly it's
tube.
got paper again.
Hmm.
I love it.
Bad uses.
So I love this cupcake idea, but I'm wondering if Samsung, how many times they tried this photo before it got to
Before it came out perfect.
before they got to the level of this is great marketing material.
Yeah.
Or if it was like just one shot, they did it, it works perfectly. Because sometimes with these, magic erase and different things, magic repair, you have to do it a couple times for it to work. This looks amazing. So I'm wondering, or did they? I don't want to say they're Huawei. Huawei was known, and other Chinese brands are known to fake photos.
Well,
So,
Samsung's been known to fake photos.
yeah, with the moon stuff, that was a thing. that
Yeah,
they did.
like I think this was like 4 years ago.
So I
For
want to
anybody-
see
Yeah.
the timestamp on this.
Oh,
If
same.
the second shot was taken first, and then someone bit into it, they're like,
Exactly.
amazing,
AI.
right?
Yeah.
That's AI.
I feel like that's probably what happened.
I mean, it looks too perfect. But if it works next week when we try it, tune into the live show. You will see there's no faking that if it's a live show.
Correct.
So we'll be live from Unpacked and give you the skinny on their new phone and whatever else they have to announce. They usually have some surprises at Samsung Unpacked, but flying out all the way to San Francisco to check it out. So that's going to be a big show. Tune in next week. It's Wednesday, right? So
yeah,
we'll have a big show then. So 1 week from today. All right. Speaking of big shows, Google I/O is set for May 19th and 20th. The 19th will be the keynote, which is usually 2 hours long. It starts off really interesting, and then it goes very developer heavy in the second hour. So if you're planning to watch, it is like Worldwide Developers Conference, but twice as long.
I was going to say somehow even nerdier.
Yeah. And I mean, the amount of times AI is talked about is just like relentless. Usually someone does a supercut and it's every 5 seconds someone's dropping the words AI. They also did that for Apple's event that same year, that like it was a hot topic and it was not mentioned once.
Yeah.
So that it's a state of affairs. That was a couple years ago, but it just shows you how early Google has been with Gemini before it was even named Gemini, talking about the AI world. Who wants to take this in terms of predictions? Who's got predictions for me?
I mean, it's pretty safe to say it's just going to be nothing but a bunch of like really sick Gemini demos that like may or may not eventually turn into real products. That's usually what they do. They'll talk about their supercomputers. They'll talk about like very developer focused things at I/O, and then spin some of it. Like they'll usually spin some of them off into real features. They generally will kick off the show where they're like, here's 20 new things coming to Gmail and Docs, and that's going to be like 10 minutes long. And then for the next hour and a half, we're going to get into the nitty gritty and we're going to talk about insane stuff. And then we just get like a bunch of demos of just random things. And then the show ends.
It's always hard to attend the show and write about the show because sometimes there's demos. Sometimes it's just philosophical things. And you're like, where's the hardware? Where can I tell consumers about what they're going to experience?
Right.
So
this was always my big issue covering it. Like I've been writing about this show for years now.
Sure.
And like every time I try to do it, I'm like, okay, I could do like a few pieces on the announcements they made in the first 10 minutes. And then for the rest of the stuff, I'm like, okay, how do I quantify this for anybody that doesn't know what like quantum computing is?
The problem is there's not a lot of B2C hardware there, or sometimes software. Them announcing the Pixel 10a ahead of time, as they have done in years past, means you can't be like, okay, this is what Google announced and here's when you can buy it at Best Buy.
Yeah.
Or the Google store. It kind of deflates the tempo of the show. It's all software based and a lot of it's theoretical. A lot of it's AI. So actually having consumer products and saying, okay, they open up the demo space to test a device. They haven't done that in several years.
They did it. I think it was last year they did Android XR. And so we got to see that for a little while. We saw the smart glasses demo, the Android XR smart glasses, which will be, I imagine, they'll be a pretty big focal point for this year.
Sure. And that was a prototype last year
Yes.
that kind of came and went, and we haven't seen much from it since.
Yeah.
XR, we did actually see launch
With the Galaxy XR headset.
right. So there was something there that was tangible.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard to say, this got announced, pre-orders are available. It's not like Samsung Unpacked, which is very consumer focused.
Right.
But it's always interesting to see because they usually have some surprises in their 2 hours that's worth paying attention to on May 19th and 20th.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with the smart glasses, I think, the most. Just because like the platform that they're building for them seems like the thing that Apple wants to do, but like it's going to take Apple probably 2 more years to get there.
And they see opportunity in that gap.
Exactly, because like Apple has to ship a pair of smart glasses first before they can do like the ones with the display, with like turn-by-turn like navigation, like an interface to show you notifications and stuff like that.
Sure.
They have to launch a whole new platform. They have to like spin off Vision OS somehow and do that.
Yep.
That's going to take them a while because they have to perfect it because they're Apple.
Mm-hmm.
With Google's just like going head first into it. They're just like, okay, we have this thing. We have not really shipped any hardware yet. We may as well just put something together. Let's just get Samsung to build something for us.
Yeah.
And they're going to, they've already conjured something up. They're just like testing it now out in the public.
So you're saying Google is not obsessed with doing a good job. They just
want to be first, I think.
Yeah.
It'll be a fine job. It's not like it probably won't suck that much. The hardware might be a little bit.
And then they iterate on it. They improve it. And
exactly. They like to build things in public.
Yeah.
Right.
Whereas Apple needs it to look perfect first before they ship it out. And Google and Samsung will probably just ship a huge, like, chunky pair of smart glasses and be like, guys, we're first here.
Totally.
Google's always happy to make a beta SDK for other people to try out and beta test, basically public.
Exactly.
Gmail was beta for God knows how many years, 20 years, I think.
Yeah. They still have some things in beta. Like the fact that they have so many chat apps, I just want them to break open iMessage.
That has kind of stopped by now.
Yeah.
I don't think Google's introduced a chat app in like what, 7 years maybe.
Yeah.
Like it's just like Google Messages at this point. That's it. It's like it's that and Google Meet.
I guess that streak ended when they did it, like pretty much ended every year.
Yeah.
When Google Hangouts shut down in favor of Google Meet. So that's November 1st, 2022. They
there you go. So
retired
finally, it got killed off.
Right. And that was their chat app for a while, not talking about Google Talk or Google Messages or Google Duo. So it was too much. And then I
remember Allo.
Allo was, which one was Allo? Was that?
It was the yellow icon.
Wait, was it like the ephemeral like video chat app, right?
Not really. It was just supposed to be like it was basically like iMessage kinda, but for everybody to use. It did like it would kind of tie into your phone number, but like it wasn't a replacement for SMS. They just wanted you they wanted all of your chats to be based on Allo. So they wanted a modern alternative to Hangouts because Hangouts was like already a little bit like behind the curve on things. With Allo, you could like send like, higher quality pictures, videos. You could use a bunch of like emoji reactions. You could do like a lot of stuff in it, and it tied into Duo, which is their video conferencing app. I don't even know if that's a thing anymore. I imagine it is because I don't remember it being shut down.
I mean,
it might have been quietly sunsetted.
Yeah, but Allo just like when it took forever to launch. Like Duo launched like a week after I/O when it was announced. Allo took months. And like, I remember tracking that because I was like, I really don't know when this thing's going to be available for people.
Yeah.
And then it did eventually launch and got no users.
So Google Duo was rebranded Google Meet, and that's where Google Meet comes from. The crazy wide world of Google, never able to settle on one chat app, but yeah, they settled on a date to announce maybe their next chat app, maybe something else.
If they announce a chat app at I/O, I'm gonna die.
Chat app.
That's exactly what I want.
It's an AI chat.
If they, no, you know what they should do? They should announce the same way that they hacked AirDrop. They should hack iMessage.
I would love that.
An app where it's
Right.
like you can talk to your iMessage people with this. We're killing blue bubbles once and for all.
I would love that.
I feel like they would do it.
Maybe
now,
it'll
too.
last 3 days again. Like Eric from Pebble launched Beeper, and
yeah.
it did crack open iMessage, and
Yeah.
was available for 3 days. There is an open source community that kind of does that. When we get Android review phones like Samsung or whatever, that's something I've dived into, but I just did not feel like it was secure enough.
I have friends that still like route their messages through like a Mac Mini, so that all of their messages look like they're blue when they text iPhone users.
Yeah,
That's such a like American insular thing. By
It
the way,
is,
'cause,
but like this is
in
like,
Europe,
that's what's
like,
predicated on like this is Apple's whole business model. Is like making
Yeah,
sure everybody has blue messages.
the only reason I can't leave.
Yeah.
But it's just crazy because that has just never been a thing over here. Like we tend to use WhatsApp primarily, and we very rarely like use iMessage almost. Like I only use iMessage to message Matt and Ashley half the time. But yeah, it's like WhatsApp is a big thing. So, but I know like I've heard like even in the dating scene, like if someone messages you and it's not green or whatever, then you're gone kind of thing.
Huh.
100%.
Usually over here, it's like if someone says, "Hey, can you get on WhatsApp?" That's a scam. On the
I
dating
know
scene.
it's so strange.
WhatsApp is a scam. Telegram is a scam.
Yeah.
But iMessage, you're safe.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to our next story. Story number 5, and that will involve Adam even more. Elder Scrolls Skyrim is finally worth playing on Switch 2. Switch is getting like the adult games, meaty games that usually are reserved for higher end consoles and PCs, but it's proving ground for a lot of these, games that don't star Mario. I know it's an older game at this point, but it's still an expansive title. Adam, what do you think? Is it worth playing? What's your call on this?
Yeah, so basically, we're seeing a lot of games that, like you say, were more adult oriented and big third party games that released on like the PS4, the PS5, and they came to Switch, but they would always come with massive compromises. And what the Switch 2 allows with its more powerful hardware is we're seeing updated versions come out that more closely resemble what we'd find on PS4 and PS5. So you've got higher resolutions, better frame rates, just a better overall experience. The problem is Bethesda released Skyrim for the Switch 2. They enhanced it, but the enhancement was not very good. It was still stuck at 30 FPS, which didn't really make sense to anyone. It had a horrible input lag when it released. Yes, they did a few other things like made the resolution better, but by and large, it was a very poor port and very disappointing. The good news is, even though Skyrim released in 2011, and I know this has mods and it looks a little bit better, but I remember playing this on my 5080, I think it was back in the day at 1080p 60 FPS. That's how old this game is, but still could run it better than the Switch 2 until yesterday. They've released a new patch, so it can now run at 60 FPS. You can still run it at 30 FPS if you want slightly better graphics and resolution. But the game's been out for 2 months now, so if you bounced off it or you were hoping for a performance patch to really get the most out of the Switch 2 hardware and 60 FPS, I can't tell you how much better it is than 30 FPS. The feel, the look, the responsiveness. Once you go back, you just can't switch. It's kind of like a lot of people are finding out with phones now when you go for 120 hertz refresh rate to 60 FPS. Even that can be jarring now. It's worse when it's 30 to 60 in a game. It's such a big gap. Bethesda kind of have a habit of doing this. They did it with Redfall. They released that 30 FPS and then updated it later. They did it with Starfield, and now they're doing it in Skyrim. So on the one hand, it's great. We love to see updates. We love to see improvements to games that have already released, but it would be nice if they started releasing their games ready to go with everything everyone wants from the start. There is some drawbacks of playing at 60 FPS because it does require a bit more graphical grunt, CPU power. You'll notice slightly reduced environmental details, lower resolution, but the trade-off for most people will be completely worth it. And I think it's great to see that the Switch 2 isn't being completely ignored by developers. They're seeing the fan outcry. They are saying, okay, we know it's not as good as it should be. Let's go back and fix it. And it means that these games that you could enjoy on a console are now on the go and they feel great. So it's good news, guys.
That is good. I constantly tell people when they say there are no good games for Switch 2 just bring up these games and the fact that no, there's an increasing, like Mario Tennis just launched. There's a nice collection of third-party games, older ones, newer ones. So they're coming out. Resident Evil is the latest and greatest. So we'll see a lot more.
Were you alive in 2011, Max, when Skyrim came out? Or you?
I don't appreciate that tone, Adam.
It's just a genuine question. I don't know.
You think I'm 15 years old? Is that what this is?
Send me a date from WhatsApp. It's not a scam.
I'd show my ID on camera, but I know we're live, so it's probably not safe.
We can't
I really
censor
want to stick it to
Don't do
Adam.
that.
Max was 3 at the time, so
3. There he is. 3. Well, you can play.
I don't appreciate this at all. This is
You can play it at 60 FPS, although you don't have a Switch 2D yet, so you're stuck at.
I have the original Switch.
Adam's going hard today. I love it.
Matt told me when I'm older, I'm allowed to have a Switch too.
Well, Matt, you can get in one early and just activate parental controls. It's got loads of, you can use the mobile app, so you can only play what you want him to play.
See, we did that on his iPhone, and he already got past it. So I just don't trust those parental controls. He cracked the code already. So
it doesn't help
it
that
was
your
1, 2,
password's
3, 4.
1111. Yeah,
that's right.
Terrible.
Just watching Bluey until the battery drains.
Oh yeah.
Pretty much.
Adam came prepared today.
He did. He's locked in.
Yes.
I love it.
All right. Next story is Static, right?
Static.
Smart Charge Pro. Clearly, I've never seen this before.
Obviously.
I feel like I see this brand at like CS Unveiled or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
Okay.
Yeah, they were humming around CES this year. It's a pretty new brand. I think they were founded sometime last year, maybe the year before. One of my good PR buddies got me in touch with them and has been sending me some of their new stuff. So I wanted to demo this because we are QVC for a modern generation.
Sure.
As we say at the top of every show, this is the Static Smart Charge Pro. Okay. So it's this neat little, I guess it's not that little, but it packs a lot of stuff in for the size. It's a portable charger.
Okay.
It has a Qi 2 charging thing on the back, so you can snap your phone to it, and your phone will start charging wirelessly. The puck inside of the Qi 2 charger is an Apple Watch charger. So you can charge your Apple Watch as well if you want.
I'm already sold. That is a great use of that. All right.
You have prongs right here, so you can plug it right into the wall so you can recharge it. There's a little screen back here to tell you how much charge is left, 15,000 milliamp hour battery. Okay. You have USB-C, USB-A outputs as well.
Impressive.
Little hook right here if you want to attach it to your backpack.
The small details, love it.
An integrated USB-C cable, if I can pull it out.
Very necessary.
Plug your phone right in.
There's nothing I hate more than a portable charger where I'm like, I just don't have the cord for it.
Yeah,
same.
And then you're carrying around a half-pound battery for no reason.
Exactly. It's a pain in the ass. So with this one, it has 60-watt output. So you can charge, if your phone supports 60-watt charging, you can do that. Or you can charge your laptop with it. So 60-watt, it's like 60 watts isn't terribly fast for a laptop, but it's fast enough to recharge it on the go. It's not too heavy. It looks like it would be way heavier than it is. It really isn't that bad.
Okay.
You're probably not going to notice that in your bag. I have chargers that are like smaller than that and way, way more. I feel it when I'm carrying it around.
I dig this and the fact that it has these prongs that go into the outlet, right, for fast charging. You don't have to plug an extra cable in or anything like that. It's nice and snappy. I asked Mophie, Zag owns Mophie, why they didn't have like the everything device.
Yeah.
And they said it tends not to be actually popular, right? So I want it. A lot of early adopters would want this.
Yeah.
But selling it is just a different story. It's usually easier to go cheaper and more slim than this. Like you said, it's compact, but it's still bigger than your normal charger.
No, this is definitely for like, nerds like us that have like a bunch of stuff that we want to charge on the go. Like having an Apple Watch charger is just fantastic. Like I will bring this to Barcelona for Mobile World Congress. If my Apple Watch dies while I'm just walking around, I can just pop it on this charger and have it charge.
How many times do you think Max is, going to be wearing the red jacket in Barcelona because he forgets
my normal jacket?
He forgets his home on jacket.
It's
Are you
probably
gonna
going to be all
force
the
him to wear
time.
it? I think you should force him to wear it.
You know what? Done. Sold.
But don't
I
let
have to
him go
wear this
near
every
any.
day while I'm in Barcelona.
Or the
Don't
Hamon
let him
jacket.
near-
Damn
Don't
it.
let him near any bulls because bulls will charge him if he's wearing that red jacket.
Just don't move.
Risking my
They're
safety,
actually
Matt
colorblind.
Spider. He's right.
There's a lot of
I
bulls. in
forgot about the
Barcelona.
bulls.
Just all over the
walk around.
streets of Barcelona.
You gotta be careful. You
Uh-huh.
have to be.
They're
Yep.
roaming around, pit-pocking you.
See,
It's okay.
Max,
Yeah.
I don't, unless you brought it up, Adam, which you just did. I don't think Max would know about the Bulls. Like if we told him, he'd be like, "Oh, they're in from Chicago. I love them. That's my favorite team." And then be like, "No, that's not." And then he would be surprised when he gets scored.
Like, holy crap. I know. Okay,
Yeah.
this is
You
a
don't wanna
different kind of
be
bull.
gored.
Yeah.
I remember my first goal in Galaxy, and it just sounded just like that. That's
Yep,
bringing me
there we go.
flashbacks.
That's actually, yeah, it's recorded from Adam's first scoring.
Sorry, sixth
my
guest. Fifth host.
Mhm.
Okay,
Running
well
the-
that's the Charger, guys.
Okay, yeah.
What the hell was
I
that?
like it. I like the color. It kind of looks like a DeWalt kind of device.
It's
with
fun.
the
Yeah,
color
no, I
schemes.
know. If this was like red, I feel like it would look like you could buy this at Home Depot. It already looks like you could buy
Yeah.
this at Home Depot.
It looks,
But
yeah.
I like that.
It's
Yeah.
the Home Depot
It's
colors.
very industrial. I like it a lot. It's $100 on static.com.
Okay.
So not a terrible price either for everything it can do. Available in orange and black.
Mhm.
And also,
Jose,
speaking of Barcelona, it does come with international adapters.
Right.
Mm.
There's
Oh,
3 of
that's
them.
good.
I don't
Oh,
know
there you
where
go.
they all go, but they definitely go in some countries' outlets. So
Jose says, "How much?" Thank you for that comment, Jose.
yes,
I'll tell you how much that cost me $1. But how much is this device? Do you have that? off?
$99.99.
That's a good
Okay.
price,
That's
It's a
really
very good price.
right? Because
Yeah.
like a high-end charger said 15,000.
15,000 milliamp hours.
Okay.
60-watt output. Apple Watch charger, Qi 2 charger, integrated USB-C cable, additional USB-C port, USB-A, little screen to show you how much charge you've got left. It's a great little, like, very, portable charger. Like, it just crams in so much stuff. I love a multi-use tool like this, and I'm going to keep this in my backpack moving
Of
forward.
course, of course. All right. Well, that is something that I'm going to steal from Max.
Okay.
Damn it.
Yeah, those
Comes
thieves
to
in
Ned Flanders
Barcelona,
again.
right?
Yeah.
Yes,
That's what you're going to blame it on?
100%. And then I'm just gonna be like, "Oh, they sent me one as well."
Uh-huh.
Just
Oh, weird. I have mine. Yeah.
right. Yeah, they didn't go after mine. In fact, I didn't have one
don't
before. I
appreciate
suddenly
that,
did.
Matthew, but okay.
No, but that's how much you know this is a cool device.
Yeah,
When
it's a
we-
good one.
When we all fight over the same thing.
Exactly.
Sometimes pink Sony headphones. That happens.
What are you talking about?
Yeah,
I won that fight. What do
you
you
did
mean?
win that fight.
That package is coming under my name. So
Uh-huh.
Sorry,
See what happens when we get one review device?
yeah.
As we're all wearing
Exactly.
these Sony
I don't have
headphones.
mine, but
You do
I
have
have
some
mine.
though. That's
I
the
have
thing.
I have more headphones than anyone else.
Guys, the important thing is we all have these headphones. All of us.
Yes.
Except for Adam.
Except for Adam.
Yeah. You can see now clearly when I build my case and I take it to the high courts and tribunal that
Yeah.
I have been unfairly, represented.
Scrutinized.
Yeah,
I get
sidelines.
nothing.
Yes.
I don't get to go in the office. I don't have a red jacket. I don't have. Let's just add it to the list, guys. I
I
might as
have a
well get
lightning
gored by a
iPhone.
ball.
Yeah, he doesn't have a USB-C iPhone.
The lightning iPhone though is holding up today, guys. I found the original cable that came with my iMac, and it's doing
Hey.
a bang up
Great.
job. So
Amazing.
Look at
quite
you.
pleased.
All right, we
High five.
have 8 minutes out, and then we have a hard out to get to our next thing under embargo. But all right, this is a crazy story. Max, you put this in there. The Vatican is now using AI to translate mass in 60 languages in real time. This is such a good Max story.
It's a really good Mac story.
It's great. All right, so this is from Euronews. Tell us about this.
Happy Ash Wednesday, everybody.
There you go.
I of
Happy
course
Ash
am going to
Wednesday.
bring themed content for this show.
That's why
obviously.
the red.
I'm wearing. Yeah, well, I don't even know if this is the right color.
it is
to be
not.
totally honest. I think it is. I forget the liturgical colors,
Sure.
but it is Ash Wednesday. The Vatican has announced that they will be using AI to translate the Pope's Mass in real time for anybody that visits St. Peter's Basilica in Italy.
Mhm.
So if you go to Mass there's a QR code that you can scan.
I don't know if this is a good idea. Go ahead.
It's powered by this app called Translated, which reps from the Vatican have said that they've made major strides with this app so that it stays accurate or whatever. There's this huge concern that it's not going to be right.
Yeah, it could be telling people to do things that they should not do.
It could be telling you to go
In
against the
God's
church.
name,
We don't know.
basically.
We don't know.
This is scary.
But this is what they're saying. So you scan the QR code.
Okay.
It fires up a web app or something like that. It then gives you a choice of language. You could, like, if you just pick English or whatever, it'll translate what the Pope is saying in real time, or whomever is speaking during the mass, so that you can understand what's being said. Now, I have not seen any examples of this yet. I have not like heard whether it works well, but they're rolling this out just in time for Lent, because I'm sure everybody wants. We're planning on going to, I'm sure, Easter Mass together.
Of course.
At St. Peter's,
as a
St.
team.
Pete's, exactly. And so we will be using the AI translator to hear what Pope Leo is saying.
The problem I have with this headline is the fact that they're shooting for 60 languages. It's not like, hey, let's roll out 3 languages. Like Apple usually does 3 or 4 when it does like real-time translation.
Yes.
They're like, no, we're going with 60. We want a miracle. Yeah.
Exactly. And these are,
I love that.
By the way, this is real artwork that the Vatican put out to celebrate.
That's AI.
It is definitely AI. Maybe I might have generated that this morning. Who's to say?
That's a very tall cyborg there, which is intimidating me.
There's I think there's a video that I put in from Grok. I was like, give me the Pope and a robot, but in like a Simpsons art style. And it turned it into a video for me. So these are the latest developments out of Italy, right out of the Vatican.
Okay.
The Pope and AI have agreed to work together to translate Mass for everybody.
That first image, why does
God.
it say Missa Robotica?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Maybe lost in translation.
It's just what it says, man.
What did the church used to do before this? Like
Nothing.
nothing at all? Just
No, I don't know that for sure. They could have had like a translated like tape or something that you could listen to, or like, you know, they probably had subtitles and sub screens somewhere. I've never been to the Vatican. I've never been to Mass at St.
I
Peter's.
have been to the Vatican, and it's absolutely amazing. So
Okay,
I do
would you like to
recommend it.
confirm what they do to translate languages? Because when Pope, what's his face, was there before Leo.
Pope, what's his face?
Pope, what's his face?
Wow.
I forget his name. Pope Francis. Pope Francis.
Okay.
When Pope Francis was
You're gonna have to
there,
atone for
he
that
did
sin right
not.
there.
He couldn't speak. He wasn't
Hail
giving
Mary for
mass
that.
in English.
Yeah,
So what was he?
I'm not sure. I mean, like guided
Okay.
tours and stuff, you kind of walk around with like you say, like a pre-recorded kind of thing, or the
That's what I assumed.
the tour guides will be able to speak like multiple languages, some of them. But I honestly think this is again the kind of stuff where AI comes in, and you're like, good. This is a good, useful. It's great. Yeah, 60 languages is extremely ambitious, that's for sure. But
It
I think
could
this is
be.
I think
It
this is a
could be
thing.
good. I don't know. Like whether it's going to be accurate or not. Like this was everybody's concern when the news dropped, was like, wait a minute, is it going to translate everything the right way? Because like whatever the Holy Father says is, it's very important when you're attending Mass. So it's like they don't want to
do we
misrepresent him,
think-
put words in his mouth.
Yeah.
Well, you'd like to think that he already knows what he's going to say, and they're pre-translating it. If it's translated, but it says in real time, which is that's
the
kind
whole
of
thing.
terrifying. That's kind of terrifying.
So wait, why would they just? I mean, the church has a lot of people, a lot of cardinals, a lot of priests, a lot of
Yes.
yeah. Why not just have like priests translate in real time instead?
Because
Lack
that
of
would be a
priests.
really long Mass. Have
Okay.
you ever been to a Catholic Mass before?
No,
Okay.
I've only seen it like on TV.
They will do bilingual masses sometimes. This was a thing at my church I used to work at. And they would recite one part of the Mass in English, and then they would have a Spanish speaking priest next to him. And he would say the same exact thing in Spanish for everybody that couldn't understand English in the crowd. The Mass would wind up being like 2 hours long.
right.
Like typical Mass, like 45, 60 minutes long. If the priest goes on a really long homily, it's maybe like an hour 10. The bilingual Masses were always like 2 hours plus,
Right.
because they're saying the exact same
But
thing
that's
just
because
in another language.
one after the other.
I can,
Yes.
as someone who's of the Serbian Orthodox faith, I can confirm that, like, when the rare occasion that I do have to turn up to church,
When
they'll
you
do
have
it in
to.
Serbian. Yeah, they'll do it in Serbian and then they'll do it in English, and it does.
Okay.
That's a long time to be stood up, and it's
All right.
painful. But
There we
you know,
just wear earpiece.
We do have to wrap up now. My phone's getting blown up. Sorry for
Wow.
cutting church chat short. On the
Jeez.
well,
short
this
cut.
is
What kind of a Catholic are you?
It's Ash. It's Ash Wednesday.
It's Ash Wednesday.
Sure. All right. But we're going to leave it there. Join us every day for an hour talking about consumer tech, AI, everything you need to know. 1 hour a day, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. We're streaming on all the platforms. And
Oh, there it goes.
there
What
he
is that? Okay.
Oh,
I don't know what that
Watch
is.
out. You're going to
What
shoot
is
your eye
happening?
out, I guess, with
that's
the arrow.
little baby
It's
Max
great.
playing Skyrim. That's
Oh my
fantastic. Although, how
His
does
head
it
is
turn
turned
That's when it first
backwards.
came out.
180 degrees.
Yeah, I do look a little demented in this.
I
I'm
know.
not-
This is how Max came out of the womb, too. Like,
Okay.
he's had that face and those
Uh-huh.
glasses
yeah,
since the beginning.
that's that is
Fantastic.
accurate. Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
Crying.
just ask my
He's
mother. she'll
crying
tell you.
again.
Yeah.
Something
Ask
happened.
Joe Bondano next time he comments.
Now you gotta take a parental
Let's see.
locks off and let him play Skyrim.
Uh-huh.
Oh my
You
god.
don't know Joe Bondano, do you?
No, I told Matt I don't know who this person is. I was
You
just like,
don't?
reach out.
Good.
We'll see.
Mhm.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. Well, we're going to leave it there. Thank you for joining us. We will see you in 23 hours talking about the latest in consumer tech. And next week, this time next week, I will be in San Francisco for.
I was gonna
We-
say, we're still gonna be stuck here, but that's
Max is
fine.
very jealous of this.
Yeah.
But for
Jones.
Unpack, usually the S26.
I'll be in the UK, don't worry.
Yeah, with his iPhone, 4. So,
Uh-huh.
anyways, we will see you in 23 hours. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for all the comments. And we will talk to you soon. Bye.
So,